55 million years ago, the Himalayas were formed and the Yamuna started flowing. Each year, the river flooded its banks and left behind its legacy of sand, making the floodplains. This has become the invaluable inheritance of our city. Mineral water is rich in nutrients and trace elements that we all need. All these natural resources like glaciers, rivers, original forests are created by millions of years of evolution. Their loss is irreversible. Life is intrinsically linked to natural resource through evolution. But we are losing them very fast. The Millennium Report says that over 50% of the world's ecosystems are showing terminal loss. And the population in India has become almost 4 times what it was at independence. We cannot go the American way. Compared to India, America has 12 times more natural resource per person. Now for a little bit of magic. In one of the glasses is Yamuna sand. This is the same sand that populates the floodplains of the Yamuna, which are 100 square kilometers large and 40 meters deep. And now you will see how much water this sand can hold. So I begin here with a glass of water which has exactly the same level of water as the sand, and I begin to fill up the sand with water. You can see the water darkening, the sand darkening where the water is coming in. So we are gradually getting to the bottom of the glass. The water is percolating through the sand. You can see that it is percolating quite fast. So you see, if you compare the levels of the two glasses, that at least 50% of the water has soaked into the sand. And this is exactly what the Yamuna floodplain can do for you. If dredged with monsoon discharge water, this 100 square kilometers, which is 40 meters deep, can fill half its volume with water. That is about 2 billion cubic meters. And out of this you can extract half of that amount, which is called the specific yield. That's about 1 billion cubic meters, and that is very close to what the Jal Board supplies Delhi today. So this is just to illustrate to you how valuable this top sand layer of 40 meters on the Yamuna floodplains is. This picture gives you the actual profile of the river Yamuna. The light-colored section on top is the sandy layer of the Yamuna. It varies from 80 meters below ground on the left to 30 meters over part of some of the other sections. The giant aquifer that you have just seen, which is the floodplain of the river Yamuna, can yield about 900 million cubic meters of water every year. We have 5 times this amount, about 4 billion cubic meters, going out as monsoon discharge from June to September each year. So we have the storage in the floodplain and we have the water to recharge it every year. How do we do this? Earlier, in the 60s for example, we had floods every year. Now we don't. Once in 10 years, the last one was in 1995. A simple scheme will do this for us. If we embank the area between 2 successive barrages and open the upstream barrage, close the downstream one, and let the water flow to fill up the embanked floodplain area with about 2 feet of water for a few days till it saturates. We now have a fully water-charged floodplain ready for use. In the water-scarce summer months, April to June, we can draw out the water using tube wells. In July, as the monsoon discharge comes in, we can again recharge the floodplain. This scheme is preserve and use, non-invasive use of a phenomenal natural resource. The Shanghai area in China is spending a staggering $6 billion to recycle water for 25 million people. In recycled water, quality also suffers. We have given a scheme where we can service 3/4 of Delhi's 17 million population with fresh monsoon water for free. Whether we value this water at current market rates for tankers or recycling cost, it is worth 9,000 crores of water a year on this day. But actually, it is forever, to preserve and to use. This is huge and important for the life of the city. Water harvesting all of the rooftops in the city of Delhi and the NCR can provide for only 5% of this, and it is expensive in terms of infrastructure. Encroachments go on unabated, not entirely out of ignorance. The present and future generations must know what they are losing. This, what you see before you, is our local goddess, the Yamuna, today. We can treat and clean all the city discharge that goes into the sacred river. And as we have shown, the goddess Yamuna can be restored and be the savior of our city. So we now know that the floodplain is such an invaluable resource. It is then essential that all of us make the government enact a law that totally stops any further building on the floodplain immediately. Schools, colleges, foundations and media have a very major role to expedite this. It is very promising that the Lieutenant Governor, as chairman of the Prime Minister's Committee on the Yamuna, has asked the Central Groundwater Board to prepare a blueprint for this scheme. This is indeed a very progressive step. This is only a beginning. All of India's rivers need to be preserved for the future. They are literally crying out for it. Your life depends essentially on this water. The time is now, otherwise they shall be all gone. We ask you for a small contribution to adopt and protect a small part of the floodplain from encroachment and pollution. If you need help, please contact us.